really appreciate your idealistic view towards building a peaceful relationship between Korea and India, and also India playing a role in peacemaking on the Korean Peninsula. But my very genuine question here is that is Korea actually ready to include India as a major player in terms of peace building? As far we have seen that there are like bigger, sharks, I would say, and India might be a shrimp among them in front of United States. China is here, Russia is here. So, do you think that Koreans would be ready to accept India apart from economy?
Very good question. Let me answer this question.
Sure.
This is my take is that the very fact that they have selected Modi as the recipient of this award, they are giving an indication that Korea should play, India should play more active role in East Asia. So this is kind of indication that they appreciate the role Modi is playing in the other countries, that he should come here to play active role here.
I find it more economic than
No, this is a peace award. This is given for building peace. This is not a economic award.
I understand.
So this and my second point is that why Korea will accept India? Because Koreans have tested everything. 6-party talks, it's not going nowhere. It's endless talks for the last 10, 20 years. So time has come and they bring a new factor into the approach. If India makes sincere effort, last time they accepted our role. If India makes sincere effort, I think Koreans will be more than happy to accept India's role. If you look at what brings President Moon's southern policy is an indication that somehow Koreans are realizing the role India can play. Many people think southern policy is just economic policy. No, if you study closely, you will see it's much more than economic cooperation. So Koreans are, I feel, ready to accept role of India. First, but before that, India has to prove its credentials. That India is ready too. That India has vision too. If we are able to convince our Korean friends that we want to play a bigger role, and we are sincere, like during the Korean War, we are here to play a bigger role in building peace and unification of Korea. See, 6-party talks are creating more confusion and more disturbances than bringing closer them together. Because every country has its own interest. So that's why talks are going limitlessly. If the talks are only two, so I have proposed 2-party talks held in New Delhi. India, South Korea, and North Korea organized talks in New Delhi. We are a neutral country. Why don't you come here? And we don't have a regional politics. Come here, talk whatever you want to talk, and we will help you. So I strongly propose that India should become a venue of the 2-party talks. The role India can play in building peace, I think it is tremendous. It has not properly understood and properly studied. So I'm making a call today that what kind of role India can play in Korean peace building should be properly studied and properly understood. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, please.
Well, thank you very much for your wonderful presentation. Recently I visited to India because my organization also pretty much pursue the cultural heritage, which India has very rich culture and heritage amongst all the nations around the world. So, like he said, I totally agree what these two countries may have to play towards the peaceful world. You talk about 6 parties. So 6 parties talking is endless. It's not giving any glimpse of hope to speak. But the importance of the unification of peace is not that indicate that the importance of peace or substantial peace is not came from the top output of some government dialogue, but it must come from the power, people power. So in that sense, the Indians, great people's movement centering on the Gandhiji, and now we are just in corner of 100th anniversary of the Tamil independence movement. So this movement also shows significant importance of this people's power. So people's aspiration to build a nation to benefit all the humanity, which is Ongik-ingan in Korean, if you know the Korean history. When I see the Indian history also, Indian history also has some similarities. You have some ancient Hindi philosophy. We are all one family. Lakam, Basma, I always speak Hindi. We are all one family, right?
Kutumba, something like this.
Yeah.
Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam.
Yeah, Katambakam, right?
Vasudhaiva
Yeah.
Kutumbakam.
So that means we are all connected. The most important similarity among these two countries, not only two countries, it's around the world. In America, the Professor Emmanuel came from. America, the first amendment of the Independence Declaration clearly describes this value, all human beings, dignity, human rights, entitled by God, divine, that is divine humanities. So it comes to easily connected to the ancient Hindi philosophy and Korean philosophy as well. So in that sense, 20th century, these two countries, the power of people really ignite the human dignities and the building of new nations. So now, 21st century, 100 years, we have another good opportunities. These two countries collaboration, cultural collaboration. I also learned Greece's also analysis, connectivity will bring a great impact to the peace of.
Thank you. I think it's a very good point, but so far, unfortunately, we have not properly studied the potential of cooperation in the field of peacemaking. So all the studies, all the paperwork which is being done is study how much economic cooperation we can have, how much money we can make together. But nobody goes beyond money making. The potential of cooperation is limitless. Money is just a small part of the paradigm. So it's time people like us start raising up our voice, Then our diplomats, our policy makers will listen to us. Then we can tell, look, you are touching a small fraction of cooperation. Look at the bigger picture. How much impact we can make, how much wealth we can generate if we work together. Potential of India and potential of Korea, two great civilizations working together to promote peace. So Korea is spending a lot of money. The money Koreans have at its disposal is limitless, but it's not being noticed. We're not being a factor. Why? Because somehow we have failed properly in July. My point is that it's time we should start exploring new areas of cooperation. So peace building and peacemaking is one of the new areas which I am proposing. So Modi's visit to Korea should not go waste. So I'm very happy at least 10-15 people came, 20 people came today. So this is a huge opportunity, good beginning, So most of the people understand that it's time to go beyond economics. So let's use this opportunity, this visit to Korea, to expand the parameters of cooperation. Talk about new areas of cooperation. How can we build a stronger and permanent peace? In situation, you have to understand the gravity of the situation, how fast the balance of power is changing in this situation. People who are actually following the situation are very scared. People like me are very, very nervous. If you read my post, you can see the nervousness very clearly. How nervous people like me are, because we are the knowing of things. We know where we're heading. Must you know yourself know? Then you will become as scared as me. We have to start working and take our areas of cooperation much bigger than cooperation. Then it will bring also economic benefits. I'm not talking about making peace will not bring economic benefit. It will bring much bigger benefit for us. So Modi's visit today should be properly understood how we can use to play a bigger role. Yes.
I want to make a short comment on your statement, Dr. Singh. So what you said about the importance of India, especially in trying to create a sort of a balance, equitable relationship within Asia, not to have it dominated by one country, not by the United States, not by China, sounds like a very wise and thoughtful position, suggestion, but it has been quite difficult. I mean, it's very easy to get people to get together and have a free meal and shake hands and take pictures, but to actually get into a serious discussion of what this order in Asia would be, to actually put together the structure for it, and to actually, in the sort of visionary way to say the family of the United Nations, it's been rather hard to find that sort of dialogue. In some ways, this is one of the rare places we actually engage in that sort of discussion.
I agree. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. Yeah? I'm trying to we have missed the opportunity.
Right.
So far, economics factors have overtaken us.
Right.
I've never, apart from me, I've never listened to any Indian scholar taking a dialogue, taking the initiative beyond economics, beyond trade. Many people call me stupid. Stupid, this guy. When whole Indian is focused on money, why are you talking peace? So that's the whole point. Somehow, whole narrative has been hijacked by economic cooperation. But it's not going anywhere. No? It's still stuck at $20 billion. I have proposed that if we start working on bigger issues, we can take up cooperation to $100 billion. We need to expand our area of cooperation. Then we will build stronger cooperation. Everything is interrelated, interdependent. To build economic cooperation, we have to build a peace cooperation, defense cooperation, culture cooperation. Then we can take our $20 billion trade to $100 billion. But so far, we are too much hijacked by people who always focus on economic cooperation. They don't understand how it works. No, so many things, international trade are influenced by so many factors, not by just price. Comparative advantage is one of it. Comparative advantage not decide everything. I'm telling you. International trade is influenced by much more than comparative advantage. And those factors are very important, cannot be ignored. So, if we start taking those factors into effective, we can take our trade value $100 billion. So I have a clear strategy in my mind how to take $30 billion trade to $100 billion trade. Let's start talking about peace. Let's start talking about defense. Let's start talking about new balance of power. Then we start building institutions for that. That will create new opportunity for us. Not just looking for new investment areas. It will not work. We have to think big. So far, our diplomats are not listening to me, They rarely, they want to consult with me. Because they don't think, they think comparative advantage is everything. No, comparative advantage is long lost theory. Time has come, my friends. Many thanks you have come today. We have to go back. Think seriously. Our country, we are having a very, very serious situation. Trying to develop a bigger picture. How big balance of power shift is happening. And we have to score our positions. And that positions can be scored only if we work together. USA, China, India, Korea, Japan work together.
Can I ask, make a comment?
Future,
Is it possible to comment?
yeah, of course.
Yeah, I was just in India for about 5 or 6 days.
Uh-huh.
I was amazed by how little news there is on Korea in India.
Is that
I
right?
spoke to someone at JNU, Jawaharlal Nehru University, a professor who said that the main question that they're concerned about is U.S. negotiations with the Taliban. They're very worried about that and about the implications of rising Taliban strength. Of course, there's the usual worry about Pakistan, certainly concerned about China and the BRI, but Belt Road Initiative. One area of which there is, as far as I could see, zero concern is the Korean Peninsula and the North-South peace process. Now, which leads me to a question: what is the Seoul Peace Prize, and what does Modi's visit have to do with the Korean peace process? That's my question.
Very good question. Very good. Actually, your question is to the point.
What is the Seoul Peace Prize?
Okay, we will.
I
That was
don't
the first half of the
The
sentence.
first half of the session.
know. But I just want to know what it is.
Oh.
Okay, she will explain later. Let me answer the second part. No, honestly speaking, that is very true. We are the only organization in Korea who's talking about Modi's vision. No university, no institutions is talking about it. For them, it is just
I just don't know what it is.
another event, another visit, diplomatic visit. Nobody try to understand the importance of the visit. So, neither Indians nor Koreans talking about it. No universities organizing any seminar, no institution, no NGOs organizing any seminar. Nobody is trying to explore the potential of cooperation. So Indians don't even think they have a role in Korean Peninsula. I'm the only scholar who are talking about Indians have big role because the whole very survival is dependent on Korean Peninsula. If balance of power shifted from Korean Peninsula, it keeps shifting everywhere. It's connected with each other. So the connection must be properly understood. The role USA played must be properly understood. So until we don't properly understand the importance of this whole connection, we will miss it. So that is why I'm very happy at least 20 people. People understand what kind of debate we have to lead to build a strong, powerful alliance between India and Korea, but it's not for our own sake, but for the whole sake of the whole world. It's time we start talking about big issues. Otherwise, we will be heading towards a very difficult situation. Believe me, things are not going to be as smooth as was in the last 60 years. Things are shifting very, very fast. Recently, there was an article about destructive technology. Do you know what is destructive technology? The dominance of destructive technology by China will change everything. Things are changing so fast. Until we move at night, we will be in a very difficult situation. I don't know what words I should use, what body language is used to convey my concerns. But I'm telling my friends, we must use and appreciate Korea for giving Seoul Peace Prize to Mr. Modi and Mr. Modi for accepting it. It's a great historic opportunity for all of us. But this event will be useless for us if we fail to properly comprehend the opportunity it gives us. The people like us, the working people who are working on the ground, to take the dialogue to bigger picture, to bigger area of cooperation. Until we don't do that, we are in a big mess. Yeah.
So maybe I could ask, so you mentioned past recipients being Chancellor Merkel and so Kofi Annan. Has Korea responded to those recipients like with pretty significant? For a very specific example, did Korea and Germany relations really improve as a result of that peace prize being given? Outside of
I got the point.
Yeah.
As I said at the beginning of my lecture,
yeah.
it's not happening. The role Korea is trying to play in the world is not being properly appreciated. That's the whole point of my presentation today. Koreans are spending a lot of effort, a lot of resources to build peace. And these organizations are going all over the world. But somehow, they have failed to make a difference. Why? Because they are going on their own, separately. But time has come when we have to unite to make a difference. So So that's the whole point. The so far, Seoul Peace Prize is one of the biggest prize of peace in Asia. But so far, it has failed to create a babe. Like Nobel Peace Prize create a babe, you know? It should create a babe. How it can create a babe when its role is properly understood. And Koreans have to understand that. Koreans have to understand that if they want to make a difference in peace building, they have to work with the other countries, other like-minded countries. And India is one of them. So on the point, you are raising a very good question. My answer is that Korea should understand. So far, it's not producing an intended result. People come here, have a food, a dinner, and take pictures, and then go, then they forget. That's not good. We have to create a bill and make a real difference. There's so much war, so much death going on, and we have to stop it. You know, so many innocent people are dying. So many people are dying of hunger, of water, of pollution. We can work together in limitless areas. Potential of cooperation. I'm telling you, potential of cooperation and peacemaking. The definition of peace is very different. It's not the absence of violence. When I said peacemaking, it's bigger cooperation. Okay, and it will create much economic opportunity. So when we start building peace, it will create a huge economic opportunity. So peacemaking is not the absence of violence, okay? It includes many things. Environment is just one aspect.
I agree with your opinion. It's a good opportunity to have a friendship with India. I think for Koreans and also governments, their diversity of friendship. I think so. I think it's a very good partner. India is might be a good partner and a good. recipients 수상이 한국말 받는 그게 수상이 아주 좋은 기회가 될 수 있다는 것을 생각하고요. 그다음에 그걸 하기 위해서 구체적인 어떤 방안이 있으신지 그것을 우리가 to exchange the cultural exchange가 난 참 중요한 생각이거든요. India and Korea have experienced the colonization. So I think it's a cultural exchange is more important than the economic exchange or something like that. So, and do you imagine India or Modi, Prime Minister Modi, would be a mediator between North and South Korea?
But I don't know if he will like it, but that's my proposal.
Mm-hmm.
That's my proposal,
Mm-hmm.
that India should play active role in building peace in Korea.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, when I say peace, it's much bigger than absence of violence.
Mm-hmm.
I strongly peacemaking includes everything. Peace is a very huge concept.
I think
So-
this peacemaking is
I-
abolishment the
Yeah.
nuclear weapons with the direct is a peace plan.
Yeah.
So
Well,
without
I mean,
with the
yeah, I
with
understand.
the
Yeah.
nuclear weapons
Yeah.
with peace means I think
Mhm.
this means only talkative. I think so.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know if Modi will like to intervene in Korean Peninsula. That's what I'm proposing. As an India scholar living in Korea, I'm proposing that peacemaking in Korea offers India huge opportunity to strengthen our foothold on Korean Peninsula, not only in Korean Peninsula, but on East Asia. And it should be seen in a bigger opportunity. From a strategic point of view, from security point of view, defensive point of view, plus economic point of view. it will create a huge opportunity in every possible field. So, I strongly warn my friends, I'm telling you, try to properly understood what I'm trying to tell, what I'm trying to hit your brains. I'm trying to give you something which can explode into limitless energy. Once you see the peacemaking as a limitless opportunity to create limitless opportunity of cooperation, it will create limitless wealth for the whole country, limitless security, limitless peace. So properly understand what kind of work we can do together to enrich ourselves and score ourselves for future.
Meet free country.
So many of my friends,
Very good idea.
yeah, try to properly understand the potential of cooperation in the peacemaking,
Yeah.
But I don't know Modi will like it or not, but at least as humble effort, my organization, my friends, we are making. We are starting a discussion, my friend Kisley, we are starting a discussion. We are trying to intervene into the debate. And we are a very minor player, big fishes which control the India-Korea debate. And they are not even invited us because they are main focus. But we are on the fringes, but we are still alive.
We're better than alive.
And as long as we are alive, we will push the debate.
Very alive.
We will push the debate, and as long as our leader, Emmanuel Professor is here, work for building peace in Korea will continue. I don't care whether they listen to us or not. But we know, our heart says it's good for our country, it's good for the region.
Yeah.
So we will keep trying, and I'm very happy some people are responding. My friends came today. It gives me, you don't know how much power, how much strength it gives me, spiritual power. One of the reasons, I started cooperating in Korea Peninsula, and when they come to Korea, immediately start looking for the economic opportunity, how to make money. But anybody who knows me, I spend my own money. I started a magazine. I published a magazine on Korean Peninsula. At that time, when it was very even difficult even to live in Korea. I opened a magazine. I spent a huge amount of money.
I think many Koreans love Indians, right? So the intellectuals, because of the Tagore, as I see a good impression by India. And many yoga students or yogers also, very good impression. So, but we did, for example, Lakabeda and I meet 3 times. So now I'm accustomed at your.
I will be very happy.
So
I want to give opportunity to all of my friends.
Yeah.
As you want to say something?
Yeah.
I agree with not only economic integration but social, cultural, educational is very integration is very important between India and Korea, and one of the significant importance that the Prime Minister Modi makes an official
Yes, very
visit
good.
to South Korea to
Good
receive
chance.
a 2018 Peace Prize, the attention of the media, and it will definitely it will bring up a lot more attention from Koreans to become interested in India, and not only Koreans, but people in India become more interested in knowing about Korea as well. I just want to share this information that I got from the ambassador of a Korean ambassador to India. He posted that I guess that in one of the cultural centers in India, they put the BTS live show, even though it's a recording, but it says like 20,000 Indians came to see the recorded live BTS concert. And what he says is that the youngsters, because they like to watch YouTube and Facebook, and even they live far away apart from Korea, and same for Koreans too. They live in another part of the world in Korea, but they through YouTube and the
Yeah.
stuff, they are able to watch Indian shows and performance, and vice versa. And so another thing is that the economic integration. I believe that the role of India should increase because everybody knows that the trade conflict between USA and China, the recent trade conflict, it really made the world economy badly affected, and so it looks like somehow the China tried to make its influence more stronger and stronger, not only in Asia but in Africa too. So for India to be more closer to Asia, it will help the Asian countries to be more balanced,
Yeah.
not just deeply influenced and affected by China. Give a short numbers to based on this opinion. I told you about the act is the policy by the Indian government. It says one of the reasons why Indian government come with this act is the policy to curb the increasing impact of China in the ASEAN and Asia. In Asia, it says a two-way trade between India and ASEAN moved up to $71.6 billion in 2016 to 2017 from only $2 billion in the early 90s. So you see the huge increase. In contrast, two-way trade between China and ASEAN stood at $452 billion in 2016. So that's the number that I would like to give.
Yeah, actually, I had some questions, like
Yes, yes.
some queries. Like,
Speak loudly.
actually, we all were like talking like about economic partnership, and we know that Korea and India are very good economic partners. And now moving to the peace stage, they're giving peace prize to our prime minister. So my question is, what like this is a move from economic partnership to peace partnership. So which other countries do you think should come in the line of this partnership? Because anyhow, as you can see, as you were also talking about the Chinese influence on other countries, and the countries that you have seen.
Yeah, okay. Very good question. Now, question is, we have to accept that our shift is happening.
Yeah.
We accept or not accept. Now, must we come to Korea? We build up a partnership with Korea. Then men like-minded partners. We are not only who concerned about it. Japan is very seriously concerned, right?
Yeah.
And then Thailand is very seriously concerned. The other, like Singapore is very seriously concerned. But once India becomes active in peace building, then with the help of the United States, we can create a new kind of framework. My point is that we should not feel so helpless. There's so many people like Japan, Korea, even Taiwan, even Singapore, feel what's going to happen to us if Americans are left. So before they leave, we should create a new mechanism. My point is that so many countries will join us. We need to understand our potential cooperation. And when I say peacemaking, it means everything: green energy, pollution control, everything. You know. So it's a huge economic opportunity also. Creating new institutions led by India, helped by USA, Japan, and Singapore, and Korea. huge. But India must come forward. Why? Now, this is my case, cruel case. Why only India can lead this? Why? Because Japan has a historical legacy. Whenever Japan tries to make a move, Korea immediately reverts them. Go. You don't want to listen to me. Now, China has a legacy, but India has no legacy. India has a legacy of peace. So when we come here and try to put a case, oh, let's build new institutions, everybody will listen us. And USA will support us. USA don't fear India. Believe me, USA support is granted. Only thing we need to take initiative. Must we start showing our initiative that we are ready to spend our resources, spend our efforts, and spend our vision. We will get a lot of support. But problem is that so far, I'm sorry to say, our diplomats, our policymakers have given up.
Yeah,
I don't want to say I'm a man of 56 inch, but I'm a humble person, but still, I dare to propose a new initiative. I'm saying we are not alone. Must we start talking about peace and start creating new institutions, we will get support. Japan will support us, Korea will support us, Singapore will support us, Taiwan will support us. We are not alone. So even China will support us. But even China knows how important peace is, stability, how important it is economic growth. I strongly suggest that even China will support us. Everybody needs peace, and everybody needs stability. So nobody should fear India's role in Korea, in East Asia. Because in my thesis, I talk about peace and justice for all. It includes China. But new mechanism I'm proposing should be based on truth and justice for everyone. So, but India can take a lead because India's credentials of peace are deep rooted. So Modi's visit to Korea should be properly understood and properly comprehended. What kind of opportunity it creates for us? Our diplomats will never talk about this. Our policymakers will never talk about this. It's our responsibility as intellectuals, as scholars. If you don't talk about it, we are dead deal. So, no matter how much we are pushed back, no matter how much they stop your meaningless, but you have to dare because this is what you feel is good for the country. You have to believe in something. For the last 20 years, I believe in something. I strongly believe that Korea offers us huge opportunity. And when we are done, you will know, you will feel how big opportunity we have created for our country, for our people, for the whole region. It's limitless opportunity.
Excuse me, Mr. Modi faces elections
Yes.
in the near future. And some people think he's done quite well with the economy. One factor that will not be in these elections will be the Korean peace process. How do you deal with that? I mean, he's got to win a majority, significant majority in Lok Sabha, and he's got to get reelected to another 5-year term. It's a 5-year term, isn't it?
Yeah, right.
It is, yeah. And he's doing quite well, but how can this advance that cause?
If
Which
I
has
may,
to go ahead.
If I heard you correctly, you were basically saying earlier that it's not really about Modi, even though it is Modi. It's about the country because
Oh, sure.
there's a significant number of people that are not for Modi.
Oh,
yeah,
And
yeah,
so the opportunity
Of
lies
course.
in the fact that it's just India-Korea relations, and
But that significant number who are not for him are not concerned about Korea either, is it?
Okay, now the question is very good. Now if Modi wins, it will be a great push. But if he loses, it will still be a great push. What is required to convince our fellow intellectuals, our fellow policy makers, look at the new opportunity, look at the new potential of cooperation. And dump the theory, comparative advantage, and talk about the bigger picture. So India is such a huge movement. Why there are less students in India than in Singapore, than in Burma? It's not working. Comparative advantage is not working. You have to, some people have to accept this. There are more Korean students studying in a small country like Burma than Singapore than India. More companies in Burma than India. Yeah, somebody has to accept it. It means some economist has accepted a so-called a comparative advantage and a complementary economy is not working. It means we have to expand our cooperation into new areas. And once new areas means peacemaking. Once we start peacemaking, in peacemaking we can have almost everything.
Will he come with a trade delegation?
Hmm?
Will he come with a trade delegation when he does come?
Because he is economic minded. I don't know who's coming with him because he's coming very short visit. He was staying here only for one day.
Oh.
You know, we don't know. They're not revealing us about it. But we are just trying to put into the debate. I told Mr. It's our chance to jump into that debate. As I told you, the wrong, I would not want to use the word wrong, very different kind of people have hijacked the debate and they are dominated the debate. People like me have been pushed to the fringes. And they have convinced our policymaker that economic cooperation is everything. And we have to steadily, it's not working. You don't need to be a genius to understand that so-called economic cooperation itself is not working. There are less Korean companies in India than Burma. Indian students are not going, tourists are not going. So what we do, we create a new opportunity, new vision, new ideas. India is the fastest growing economy in the world. Then why Koreans are not going there? India has a huge market for Korean products. Then why Koreans are not selling there? India has a good education. Why Indian Korean students are not studying there? India has such a beautiful places, historical places to see. Then why Korean tourists are not going there? Somebody has to ask these questions on the face of them. But they have no answers. I have the guts to ask this question. Sometimes they don't like me. I'm okay. I'm okay because I'm a man who lives by convictions. I'm talking about it's time to start a new debate, start exploring a new ideas, new explorations. There's a reason I have spent my life because I can see if we can bring Korea on the board, we can bring the whole Asia on board, and we can dominate the whole Asia. So Korea is our kind of starting point.
I think not because of Korean part, the Indian university language school don't have a strong intention to be Korean language English speakers. I think India is very good place to study English. They didn't 열심히 안 했다 이거지. 예, 그렇죠. 인디안 학교에서 랭귀 스쿨이나 유니버시티에서 한국 학생들을 유치하기 위해서 열심히 노력했어야 됐다는 거죠. 근데 그것을 이제 한국에서 열심히 안 했다. 그것은 내가 볼 때 조금 힘든 이해하기 힘든 얘기다고 생각합니다.
It's not so convincing to say that it was entirely on the Korean side. I mean, Indian universities were competitive. They could have had. They did make a real effort here in Korea to promote the English language studies to Koreans.
관광적인 측면에서도 English and Tourist Office, I don't know, Indian Tourist Office is a publicized like
Similarly, the effort in travel, it was all focused on English language, not on Korean language.
I think Korea has a small territory. The English is a very large territory. If I have a president or like minister, I will export the complex, Korean complex, a Modi complex, so peace complex, right? Many Koreans working there, and like that, is it possible? I think it's after so peace prize. Right?
Look, see, so that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm worried. That's why I organized this meeting. I'm so worried. He comes here and take a prize and go, nothing happens.
Yeah.
I'm so worried.
Yeah.
I've spent a lifetime to build a debate. I'm so concerned. There's a very high possibility, very high possibility that nothing happens. The same paradigm, the same perspective, the same narrative, which has dominated India-Korea cooperation so far can continue for next 10, 20 years. So I'm making an approach, I'm making a call. Let's change the narrative, let's change the debate, Let's jump into it. Let's bring new ideas.
Yeah. I hope your idea will realize.
So this is the beginning of the debate, you know. So that's what
At
people
least
go
the
on.
Modi
So
Piazza,
when
like
you guys go to back to your institutions, start thinking, what are you taking home today? I'm making a call to change the paradigm shift of the narrative of India-Korea cooperation. My friend, Don Craig has helped me a lot. He has helped me exposed to the media many times. He's one of my greatest, you can say, benefactors. So far he has helped me so far. So, but he's a great, you know, he can help us. We have to spread out with the new ideas, with the new initiatives. Look at this. Let's see what we can do. So-called the people who are dominating the debate, they are benefiting from it. They don't care about us. They are benefiting from the current narrative, so they are focused on it. But we are not benefiting. So we must change that. Simple question. So we must change the narrative. These students come to Korea and then after they fail to get a job. And how can they put same narrative? They have to change the narrative because that narrative is not working.
What kind of trade? What's the two-way trade?
It's just $20 billion, but $20 billion, but a big trade deficit in favor of Korea.
I mean, how about investment?
Very small, invisible, not good.
But it's interesting, Mahindra Motors even has a significant.
We were suspecting that Make in
They
India
have a whole
will
motor
attract
vehicle
Koreans, but
company.
it has failed to work.
And Tata's here too, right?
It has failed to work. No bigger investment has moved to Korea.
Mahindra and Tata are both here.
They came to Korea. They are very successful. So we can build on those cases, you know. We can build on those.
Yeah.
I think I have said enough. I will like to request our Guru to close that way.
Oh, yes, close. All right, well, that's easy.
Yeah.
I have one comment and a question. I really like the idea that you